Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahma innaka antal wahhab. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li waziran min ahli Haruna akhi ushdud bihi azri washriku fi amri kay nusabbihaka kaseera wa nadhkuraka kaseera innaka kunta bina basira wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Welcome friends. Inshallah we will start a little small news section from the 15th ray, the first station, part 2, which is on page 580, which is entitled A Brief Summary of Surah Al-Fatiha. Very exciting, inshallah, because in a day we probably recite this many times. Every rak'ah of our prayer includes Surah Fatiha, and some additions maybe we make at other moments, revolutions in our life. We may be saying Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise be to the Lord of the universe, all the worlds, as is translated. So let's dig right into the subject. I think in the beginning he just gives some reference. So it says part 2 of the only lesson I gave after having been transferred temporarily from solitary confinement in the third school of Joseph. So he gives reference to the school of Joseph, as in his condition, he was in a prison, and he likened it to a place of learning where he can work on himself, just like we are here in this universe, in our school, whatever we are going through, educating ourselves, learning what our reality of our life is, what we go through, what does it point to, establishing that relationship with the creator of the universe. So it is a continuous journey and education for us as well. To the school of Joseph, to the company of others. So this is a short sample of the lessons given to the risale-i Nur students in prison. While reciting Surah Al-Fatiha during the prayers, it commanded me. So the Surah Al-Fatiha commanded me to expound one drop from its ocean and a single flash from the 7 colors in the light of its sun. For sure, we had written some very sweet and agreeable points from this sacred treasury in part of the 29th letter, particularly in the journey of imagination, taken in the noon of Na'budu, Iyaka Na'budu, and the 8 symbols Rumuzus Simani, and the Quranic commentary, Signs of Miraculousness, Isharatul Ijaz, and in other parts of the Risale-i Nur. So some of his works in the other books that he has worked on. But I felt obliged to write down my reflections during the prayers, but only the allusions to the pillars of belief. So focus is on the pillars of belief and their proofs from that very sweet Quranic summary in the form of a concise extract and in the manner of part 1 above. So referring the phrase in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate, to 2 or 3 treatises of the Risale-i Nur, I am starting from all praise be to God. So we remember discussing Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in a few sections in his earlier work. So he's going to start from all praise be to God. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So let's go over the verse in its translation. In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. All praise be to God, the sustainer of all the world. All praise be to God, the sustainer of all the world. The merciful, the compassionate, owner of the day of judgment. You alone do we worship, and from you alone do we seek help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those whom you have blessed. The path of those whom you have blessed, not those who have received your anger, nor those who have gone astray. As we all know very famously, this is from the Quran, Surah Fatiha, section 1, verses 1 to 7. So first phrase, all praise be to God. A very brief allusion to the proof of the truths of belief in this phrase. A brief allusion to the proof of the truths of belief is in this phrase. Very interesting.
He doesn't say, not like this. Don't hold on the side. Yeah. And left it by itself. Yeah. He doesn't say what the verse is telling me, I'm ready to follow it. But this is what we keep hearing, which is partially true, but it is the conclusion.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he says the proof, a very brief illusion, it's an, I mean, I'm making a brief statement here, pointing to what we are going to do. The proof of the truth of belief in this phrase. It means
it's not taken for granted, this phrase.
Yes. What does it say? Can I confirm it? Does it really tell me something, tell me this phrase, that it goes along with my human nature? Of course, we are not saying that only we are not saying that we have to re-question the validity of the Quran altogether, which almost no one does. But at least our first approach to the verse we are reading, first of all, even it is within my acceptance of the general message of the Quran in general sense, that I confirm it generally, but when I start reading a verse, the first thing, depending on the nature of the verse, of course, the content of the verse, what the nature means, content of the verse. If it is fiqh matter, that is something else. But I have to see the universal message, which I can confirm in the verses of the Quran as much as possible, depending on my background preparations, depending on my capacity. But I have to say, what does it say? And if I can confirm it, does it really make sense to me? For example, here, all praise be to God. Really? Can we say this? Can I not give some praise to the causes? Some praise to, for example, nature, in their own nature? Can I not give? Or if my social life, if I am interacting with other people and these other people, for example, do me a favor, can I not praise them because they contributed? The more practical example, can I not thank and give some praise to the successful farmers, successful manufacturers?
Maybe I can thank, but not maybe praise.
Oh, now, of course, praise, yes, as you said, yeah. Praise means
A little different.
All the qualities manifested in this belongs to whom? But thankful means expressing my gratitude for it. Of course, what the scholars say, the original word hamd, includes both meaning, but usually it is understood as praise, praising what? All the qualities manifested in it belongs to the one who created the whole universe. No one else can have any share in it, in creating it. Farmer is not creating. Farmer is obeying the order of the universe and live it. Manufacturers are obeying, following the orders of the universe and live it. Never create anything. Because of their obedience of the order of the universe, following the order of the universe, which is established by God, by the creator of the universe, also needs to be appreciated, thanked for. We have to thank them because you really made a good prayer to the Creator, perfect prayer, in the appropriate way that the Creator wanted us to communicate with Him. I cannot say that anytime I want, then I can say, oh God, send me some food, for example. I cannot say this because God says, if you want to ask me something, you have to follow the rule that I established, and also as a human being with your consciousness, not only with your action. Keep me in mind that you are obeying my order. That is very essential in our daily life, to turn every activity we do in this world,
refer it to God.
Yeah, obeying the will of the creator of the universe. And if we keep it in conscious mind, in our conscious mind, it becomes a form of worship, because I am aware that I am communicating with the creator.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Inshallah. Okay, so we will start with the paragraph. filling the face of the earth. Indeed, the universe are intentional bestowals and bounties. So I would underline intentional bestowals and bounties that the universe is filled with. So they're not just randomly there, not accidentally there, but someone willed it, intentional bestowals and bounties, which are the cause of praise and thanks, especially the sending of pure, clean, nutritious milk to infants from between blood and excrement. So too are their purposeful gifts and presents, and kindly benefactions and feasts. The price of these is to say in the name of God at the start, all praise be to God at the end, and in the middle to perceive the bestowal in the bounty, and through it to recognize your sustainer. So to start in the name of God, all praise be to God is at the end, and in the middle to perceive the bestowal in the bounty, that it has been intentionally given. And through that bestowal, recognize your sustainer, the one who gave it to you, the bestower or sustainer. Consider your own self, your stomach, and your senses. How many things and bounties they need. See how many foods and delights they want for the price of praise and thanks. Foods and delights they want for the price of praise and thanks. So it's not the monetary dollar amount, but the price of praise and thanks. Then compare all living creatures with yourself. Thus, so each and every being, just like my stomach is satisfied, each and every creature that is living is also being taken care of. Thus, the endless praise offered verbally and through tongues of disposition in response to these general bestowals show as clearly as the sun the existence and universal dominicality of one who is worshipped and praised, an all compassionate bestower of bounties. So all praise be to God. After experiencing all these bounties, bestowals, that's the proof and the whatever we are experiencing, we have to see that it is intentionally given to us. Intentional bestowals and bounties. It's just like somebody treats you nicely, you thank the person because they made the effort intentionally to treat you in an unkind way. But each and every thing that we are given, from our eyes, nose, their senses, our feelings, or the food that we get, the air, the atmosphere, the environment, everything is all intentionally given. The experiences that we go through are all intentionally given. So either good or bad, we may like it, we may not like it, but they are intentionally given and should be the cause of praise and thanks. Although when we don't like it, it's difficult to become a cause of praise and thanks. Because as you said last time, the ego rejects that. Because it wants things to be the way I like it. That's what the ego wants. But
if we realize that they are intentionally given to me, if I realize that, whether it it is something that I like it or I don't like it, that is my feelings, but I should understand that I don't like this, but it has been given to me intentionally by whom? By whom? My Creator. Is there any way to give a chance to the thought or idea that my Creator does something to harm me, but we are not, usually I am not, aware that it is intentionally designed for me and created for me by the Creator of the universe, also my Creator. If I take notice of it, somehow I watch out for my reaction to it. But if I don't take into consideration that it is intentional, as you emphasized on the importance of intentional, really, I don't remember the Creator. Even I claim that I believe in the Creator and the universe, everything is created by him. But when it comes to the particular creations, it is difficult. So we have to train ourselves. So simple. We have to train ourselves. Yep.
So it requires a lot of training. That's why we are giving life to train ourselves.
Long time to
Alhamdulillah.
educate ourselves.
Yes. Thank you, Brother Ali. All right. So any comments or questions or anything by anyone? All right. Let's move on to the second phrase. The sustainer of all the worlds. The sustainer of all the worlds. A very short allusion to the proof contained in this phrase. We see with our eyes that within the universe are not thousands, but millions of worlds, small universes, mostly one within the other. Millions of worlds, small universes, mostly one within the other. Although the conditions...
What does it mean? The one within the other.
For example, the human body is a one world, and within me, I have atoms and cells within me. Organs.
Each organ
has its own world inside it.
Yes, cells,
tissues.
And the way it works, function, communicates. Right. Look, how many things are going on.
It just keeps going on.
Heart is communicating with the lung. Lung is communicating with the other organs. Yeah, my voice, or for example, I don't know, cleaning the blood and sending it to some other parts of our kidneys, our liver, all other things, I don't know. Many things are going on within me. And each of them is communicating with each other, and every cell has many different compounds. You know, one atom works with another atom and becomes another molecule. And this molecule functions in a completely
different way
when they were in atoms. These are all working within each other and always perfectly compatible with the rest of the world. Everything, whether we like it or not, compatible with the work of the other things in the world. So they make a complete, perfect order. And do you think, are they the agents of arranging this order? Who are they? Particles. No quality of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particles, alhamdulillah. So one within the other, all small universes, one within the other. Although the conditions for the administration and running of these are all different, they are organized, maintained, and administered so perfectly that, like a single page, held constantly in view, the universe is renewed and changed. So administered so perfectly that, like a single page held constantly in view, the universe is every moment renewed and changed. So can't really hold it as in one state. Continuously is renewed and changes. And like a line, each of all those worlds is written by a pen of power and determining. So somebody is giving existence to each and every of those small universes, those worlds that we are experiencing, and arranging them, administering them, sustaining them, satisfying them. So he says, written by a pen of power and determining. Everything is measured and carefully adjusted to be in coherence with the whole universe. Every instant, attestations, particular and universal, are made boundless, unending testimonies to the number of minute particles and the beings formed of them. So every instant attestations, particular and universal, are made boundless, unending testimonies to the number of minute particles and the beings formed of them. So each particle is attesting something. They're telling that I'm made
to the source of their existence. Who gave me this? By their quality.
unending testimonies to the number of minute particles and the beings formed of them, to the necessary existence and unity of a sustainer of all the worlds. So they declare the necessary existence of a sustainer of all the worlds. Each and every being, each and every particle. The one who administers these millions of worlds and traveling universes. So they're going somewhere. They're coming from him and going back to him. Traveling universes with an infinite knowledge, wisdom, and limitless, all-embracing mercy within an infinite dominicality. Not to affirm, perceive, understand, or see a dominicality which raises and administers with the same law, the same dominicality, the same wisdom. All beings from the arable field of particles to the solar system and the Milky Way, and from the cells of the body to the storehouse of the earth, to the universe in its entirety, certainly makes a person deserving of endless torment and negates his worthiness to be pitied. To be pitied. So by not affirming or perceiving or understanding, so just being heedless, not paying attention to what the eyes or the human feelings, whatever the human senses are sensing and experiencing. So that is the sustainer of all the worlds. Each and every being, every particle, every cell declares the necessary existence of a sustainer of all the worlds, who must know each and every world, the small worlds, each and every being must be under his administration, under his control, his knowledge. It must be so. Any comments on this sustainer of all the worlds?
Yeah.
Oh, you have.
Okay. We have to pay attention to this alameen. Yeah. Grammatically, it means conscious beings. Some commentators mean all the conscious beings, not awalim. Awalim means everything.
Okay.
Conscious and unconscious. But alameen is in other words. In other words, plural has two plurals here. One of them includes the meaning everything. The other one includes only conscious beings. Alameen is used here, and the Quran usually used alameen, well, most of the time. Conscious beings. And when it is referred to the Rabbul Alameen, the Lord of the universe, owner of the universe, which is mostly used there,
right,
in this context. So it means conscious beings in this world, in the universe.
I see.
Now, some scholars understand, which I have no objection to, none of my business, that they understand in this way, that conscious beings are human beings, may include angels as well, but not as we call them unconscious beings. But in Nursi's understanding, he understands the universe itself
to be conscious
as a conscious being.
Everything.
Yeah, at least what they represent in their existence, that their angelic side is conscious. So if means that in a simple way, when we look at the book, it's an excellent simple analogy. But what makes a book? Not the paper. That's obvious. You have the information in it. So we don't say that this book is paper.
Right.
No one says this. So information is a knowledge, not matter. So it is a conscious being that I'm communicating with. Although I don't see it in physical terms, doesn't matter. I'm communicating with something which must be conscious. Nursi's understanding, everything in the universe is conscious, as far as my relationship with them is concerned. I cannot, Nursi doesn't accept, and it makes sense. it is also interesting. Categorization doesn't work in the universe because universe is a whole. You cannot categorize it. But it appears to be some of them stones or some of them plants, animals, but this is how they take the forms, different forms of creation.
So existentially, we don't categorize.
Existentially, they are as a whole. Each and every combination of the each particles, each beings are consciously arranged, and we can see in the existence of the atom, the same qualities manifested in the existence of the molecules, which are made up of atoms together, also has another layer of conscious relationship with me. So we have to understand all praise.
The sustainer of all the worlds.
Yeah, sustainer of the worlds. Sorry, sustainer of the worlds. Rabbul Alameen, as mentioning about every being in the world. That is what we have read here. So we have to be very careful. Some scholars said these are only human beings or jinn. Oh, yes, including them must be everything. Depends on our understanding of the nature of this universe. It depends on my capacity, how much I can perceive the reality of this world. But traditionally, by the scholars, the classical tafsir scholars, because they are not really theologians at the same time, they should be, but mostly they are not. So they look at the meaning of the Quran only through the grammatic structure as much as they know. Of course, their knowledge is immense, not comparable to any person's knowledge that nowadays writes translations, makes translations of the Quran. They are mostly imitating each other, copy-pasting each other, etc. So renewing the language, these kind of activities are going on there. But these classical scholars are great people. We have to thank them, and we have to ask Allah to treat them with mercy. They tried, but it is not their interest. But Nursi's interest in to confirm the belief in the Quran. How can I confirm it? When I read a verse of the Quran, I cannot say that must be borne in mind all the time. I believe in the Quran, but I don't know what it says. I believe in the book, which is written by the most knowledgeable person, but I don't know what it includes in it. Does it really show that it is the most knowledgeable person's writings? I don't know. I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah. Saying that this is what it says. Of course, classical scholarship has emphasized on the grammatic side of the Quran and tried to understand according to the grammatic structure of it, but they didn't take notice of the Quran as mentioning the Rabbul Alameen, in this case, for example, every single being, because according to their understanding of the interpretation of the creation of the universe is limited to Arabic structure. So conscious being, Alameen, refers to conscious being. Yeah, that is correct. But this is what they understood correctly. But what is lacking is
definition of
on the definition of consciousness in terms of the universe. It means their understanding of the universe. What are the conscious beings? Of course, they become a bit shallow there, saying that human beings are conscious. Quran also talks as if jinns are conscious. Angels are, seems to be in the Quranic teaching, conscious. So they say, okay, all human beings. He is the Lord of all human beings, or all human beings and jinn and angels. That is not wrong, but a bit limited and shallow understanding of the universe, the purpose of the universe. The most problems, as far as I can see, of the classical scholarship is coming from their effort to understand of the Quran did not include their effort to understand the universe. What is it for there? As if for them, the universe is something to do with scientific studies. Quran is something to do with Quranic religious studies, tafsir studies. So I'm not a scientist. I'm not interested in it. This kind of attitude, maybe for specialization, it is needed, but nowadays, of course, we have to pay attention of the reality that we cannot really present the Quran without being supported by the evidence in the creation. Now the audience will not accept it, and they are not accepting it. We have to realize this. That is why we have to always refer to
the evidence, the universe.
Yeah, inshallah.
Bismillah. So there's a comment from Suhail. Suhail, would you like to speak so we can all hear your voice?
Sorry?
The comment from Suhail.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Oh, it was just what Ali Member was saying. You know, with what he's mentioned, well, or when he was talking earlier about Alameen, like it's implying, you know, use of that word, I guess, then that all things are conscious, including all things to the number of particles in the universe by use of that word. So when the Quran uses that word, you know, it's inherent, I guess, to its meaning to say that, therefore, do you see all things as being conscious? Or maybe asking me, sustainer of all the conscious world, is do I see the world as being a conscious sort of manifestation of his will, his act of creation, or his qualities? And then just to his other point about this consciousness, at least, you know, when I read the Quran personally, this is my personal opinion, the Quran is extremely precise, and that I feel like sometimes people impose their meaning, their sort of traditional understanding of the Quran and limited understanding of the Quran onto the words when those words don't even exist there. So if it truly meant humans or jinn or angels, it would have said that. It would have been explicit, but rather it says worlds. And human beings sort of restrict the meaning when they impose their sort of limited understanding, their limitations upon it. So I usually don't personally like that, and that's usually very traditional, which is why I don't really like traditional interpretation of the Quran. But nonetheless, that's, I mean, it still happens today, I guess. But you know, I think more than grammar, I guess grammar has its utility in understanding the Quran to some extent, but to me, more so, the linguistic aspect is, to me, far more important. The word, why the words are chosen as they're chosen, and in the place they're put in, and why is it said in this way and not another way? That's not particularly grammar. I guess that's more like syntax and linguistic eloquence. So, but those are just my thoughts.
Thank you for sharing that, Suhail. I mean, it keeps it very open, as it says, all the worlds to interpret it.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll continue with the third phrase, the merciful, the compassionate. The merciful, the compassionate. An extremely brief allusion to the proof in this phrase. Yes, the existence and reality of a boundless mercy is as clearly apparent in the universe as the light of the sun. Boundless mercy is as clearly apparent in the universe as the light of the sun. As certainly as light testifies to the sun, so this extensive mercy testifies to a most merciful and compassionate one behind the veil of the unseen. An important part of mercy being sustenance. That mercy is signified by the name of provider. So an important part of mercy being sustenance, which everyone is getting. Important part of mercy is sustenance. That mercy is signified by the name of provider. As for sustenance, it points to an all-compassionate provider, so clearly that anyone with an iota of intelligence is compelled to affirm him. So sustenance, where is it coming from? Points to an all-compassionate provider, so clearly that anyone with an iota of intelligence is compelled to affirm him, this provider. For example, he sends food to all living beings, particularly to the helpless and young, throughout the earth and the atmosphere in truly wondrous fashion, beyond their wills and power. From seeds, droplets of fluid, and grains of earth, which all resemble each other. He makes the hen birds search out the food and bring it their wingless, frail chicks in the nest at the tops of trees. So the hen birds search out for food and bring it to their wingless, frail chicks, who are young, cannot fly yet, in the nest at the tops of trees. He subjugates the hungry lioness to her cubs, so she does not eat the meat she finds, but gives it to them. He sends the pleasant, nutritious, pure white milk, like the water of Kauthar, from the springs of breasts to the infants of humans and young of other animals, without it being polluted by red blood and filthy excrement, sending also their mother's tenderness to assist them. Then, just as in truly wondrous fashion, he causes the appropriate sustenance to hasten to all the trees. In truly wondrous fashion, he causes the appropriate sustenance to hasten to all the trees, which need a sort of food. So he bestows an extensive table of foods on man's senses, which require sustenance, physical and non-physical, and on his mind, heart, and spirit. It is as though the universe consists of hundreds of thousands of laden tables of every different kind and sort, all enfolded, one within the other, like the petals of the rose and shirts of the maize cob or the corn cob, with a multitude of various tongues, particular and universal, with a multitude of various tongues, particular and universal, to the number of tables and the foods they bear, and their bounties. These point out to everyone who is not completely blind a most merciful provider, and all compassionate and munificent one. So when I read these kind of descriptions of bounties in the universe, I feel really humbled.
And also for us to exist, we need a creator, and we need this body or this human being is to be here. So our need extends from the very beginning of our creation, our life, and every element of our life and every element of the universe. So everything, first of all, on the very base, they need to be created. They need to be given existence. That is also another sustenance and life. So every being is moving. All the qualities they have, this moving and relationship with each other, communication, and as the text says, whatever my mind need, my heart needs, and my spirit needs, they are all given, provided. What I understand from here that really provision encompasses every layer of existence. We need it. That's why at the end we will read, inshallah, maybe not today, it depends, but not, it seems to be not. إياك نستعين. We desire, we need help from you, your aid. So about what? For example, guidance, the explanations, meaningful existence,
right?
And an instructor, prophet, giving me instructions, giving me practical examples. I all need them. That's why, for example, for worldly purposes, we go to school. Why? I need education. I need professor. I need lab experiments. I need experiencing with other people, learning together. I need to do my assignments.
Right.
Otherwise, I cannot learn. That is how my capacity is given to me, to acknowledge that I need every time help from my creator. And I am receiving it. That's why we have to remember that it is a beautiful prayer. بعدد داء ودواء. But what is that means is literally means sickness, illness. Dewa means really means of healing. But the universe, when I don't look at it with the guidance of the revelation, I will see it is a problem for me, meaningless, lump of things. Yeah, they seem to be acting in order, but for what? Why? How? No answer. These are all sicknesses for my mind, for my spirit, for my feelings. Meaninglessness is the most torturous thing that we can have in this world. Meaningless life, meaningless actions that we are doing. Why? I don't know, just I'm doing. We cannot be a human being by doing meaningless actions. But we may replace the real meaning with what my expectations, very short-term expectations are. We have to be very careful. So why I am doing this? Because I have to make money. I have to look after my children or myself. So I need this to buy. I need all these provisions. So we think that this is our problems. But this is a very short-sighted, shallow understanding of our problems. How can I solve it? The Quran says, La ilaha illallah. That is our life smith, or how do you say, life-saving smith, or no, life-saving bullet. There's a word. So when you the guards or on the seashore, there is an
lifeguard. Yeah.
So what are they? The stuff. If you put it under your arms, you cannot sink.
I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Lifewear. Lifesaver.
Lifesaver, but this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Thank you, whoever wrote it. I don't see that. All right. This is our life saver. Under La ilaha illallah. Why? La ilaha diagnoses the disease. Illallah solves it, heals it.
Diagnoses the disease. Illallah
La
solves
ilaha.
it.
Yeah. No. These are not the answer. They cannot act by themselves. They are not first beings. They cannot know me. Here is it. I don't know. I can throw them away and they don't say, hey, I am helping you, come, let me stay here. No. So La ilaha is diagnosing the disease. Illallah is the solution. That's why we have to say, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, bi'adidi kulli da'in wa dawa'in. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad bi'adidi kulli da'in wa dawa'in. Because through his message, all my, yes, somebody may say that, look, you have this disease. Now, thank you for letting me know. How can I solve it? This is the solution, medicine for it. Thank you. We pay for money for it. And if it is essential, we pay everything we have in this world for it. So how much we are going to be grateful for the message and the messenger that he brought to us, employed to bring it. That is, we should expand the understanding of sustenance. Quran is shifa, the Quran says. It's there, I am shifa. But is it really? Yes, it is. La ilaha illallah. Solution. And the perfect shifa, diagnosis, the disease, and solution for it.
Illallah. Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, any comments by anyone? So we do have some part of this sustenance and mercy and compassion left, which I think we can continue next time, inshallah, about the calamities, ugliness, and evils, and see the answer. And then we'll continue on with the fourth phrase. All right, if there's any final comment, please go ahead. Otherwise, we can stop here for today. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati suratil Fatiha.
Jazakallah khair.